So thank you so much for joining us. If you don't know who I am Julie Johnston with Julie J Travel, and I craft inspired experiences for active aging travelers, busy professionals, and groups seeking exhilarating vacations that envelop you in luxury. With my deep destination knowledge and my access to the best guides, and also my creative spark, I make sure to fully immerse you in the cultures and the landscape that you visit on your vacations. And I also mix in a bit of relaxation. So for 2021, what I decided is I chose the word catapult as my word that is inspiring me this year. And so I'm venturing into all new adventures. And one of them is this. It's called Who's Cooking with Julie J Travel. And so tonight, as I was just going through and explaining, I'm going to be having different chefs as well as different restaurants, as well as different partner suppliers that I'll be working with their chefs. And we'll pair destination luxury travel with whatever gourmet delights they're making. So tonight I have Holly Pierce from Kitchen Coaching, and she's going to be making Mexican style picadillo, which I'm super excited about. I'm going to be making it this week. And so we met socially, and from there it's blossomed. She was offering some cooking classes that I decided to partake in, and had such a wonderful, fun, interactive time, met a lot of great people, and the food was outstanding. She has many years of experience and her talents are endless. So I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about herself. We'll type in the chat box if you do that for me, Celeste. Her website is kitchen-coaching.com. And I'll also send it to you in our follow-up email after the show. But I'm going to turn it over to her and let her tell you all about herself. And then she's going to take our taste buds away on a wonderful dish tonight.
Woo! Oh, thank you, Julie. That was really great and amazing. And welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm really excited to go to Los Cabos a little bit later on because, as Julie was saying earlier, it is cold here. So I'm going to enjoy a little virtual trip. Before we get there, we're going to do a little cooking. As Julie mentioned, I've been doing this for a long time now, a long time in this business, and I absolutely love it. One of my favorite parts is doing something like this, where I get to interact with folks, whether it be virtually now or certainly in person, and we get together and we cook and we share stories and we laugh and we have fun. And it's a good time. I feel like food is really something that just really brings people together. And that's part of what I do in my business. And I'm not going to talk too much about that right now. If anybody has questions about it, you can feel free to ask me about the things that I do and the things that I offer, the coaching, the virtual and in person, one-on-one, or for groups, all centered around food. But we're going to start cooking now, and we're gonna start with our recipe. Sorry, there's a little chat box that popped up and it's like a squirrel. I got distracted from it. So, Mexican picadillo. Picadillo is a dish that is, it's a Latin American dish, and there are different versions. So there are the Mexican versions and the Latin American versions and the Cuban versions, and they all kind of meld and morph into each other. It is based with ground beef. And then we have all kinds of really delicious and interesting flavors that go along with it. The typical warming spices. We have some cumin and some chili powder here. And then we have jalapeno peppers. And we have diced green chilies. And then tomatoes. And we're gonna take it to, we're gonna take it a little bit Cuban tonight, and we're going to add green olives, and to make it really interesting, raisins. And this just kind of adds a really different component to it. So we get from the spices and the beef, we get that earthy, kind of warm, and the spices, we get that heat, and then the chilies and the tomatoes add a little sweetness, and the olives add a little briny saltiness to it, and then a little bit more sweetness from the raisins. So we're gonna start. We've got our pan, and you can use, this is about a 10-inch saute pan. And there we go. You can use one with slope sides, high sides, doesn't matter, whichever one you like. So we're gonna start by getting some of our vegetables going. So I'm gonna just drizzle enough oil in the bottom of the pan, just to cover it. And you can see, Eric, can we get that just enough to cover the bottom?
Beautiful.
There we go. Perfect. And we want to heat up the pan. And the reason that we want to do that first is so that when we start putting our ingredients in it, our ingredients start cooking and getting that lovely sear and caramelization on the outside of it that seals in all those juices and gets that those nice sugars going, especially because we've got some sweet vegetables going in. I'm going to turn that down for just a minute. And I'm going to chop my onion. As you can see, I've got most everything prepped ahead of time, which is nice, because it's just kind of a dump and go. Small onion, just in case anybody's wondering. Some recipes will call for a measured amount, like a cup or half a cup. Some recipes will call for small, medium, or large. This is what I consider a small onion. So this is what we're gonna use tonight.
What type of oil did you use?
I used just a, that's a really good question. I used just a very light, non-flavored vegetable oil. So for this dish, you want to make sure that you use something like that. If you use olive oil, I would use a very light olive oil. I would not use an extra virgin olive oil, because that would just really impart a lot of that strong olive flavor to it. And we really want more of a light oil with a neutral flavor. You could use vegetable oil, you could use avocado oil, you could use sunflower, peanut oil you can, if you have no allergies to that, because they're all very, sorry, chopping and talking at the same time. They're all very neutral. So our pan is heated, and I just chopped my onion, so I'm gonna get that in there. And then I'm going to add carrots and our jalapeno pepper. Now, when you're using the spicy peppers, you can use any kind that you want. This recipe calls for the jalapeno peppers. If you like it spicier, add more. Add serrano, add a habanero. You could add chipotle peppers, which would make it nice and smoky spicy. And if you don't like the heat that much, use a green bell pepper. It's really up to you. The recipe is a really great guideline, but you can certainly make it your own. We're gonna let that cook down for just a little bit. And basically, I want the vegetables to get a little bit soft. I'm going to add a little bit of salt. And I'm probably adding about a teaspoon here. You'll notice as I cook, I do everything kind of by feel. I think recipes are really nice guidelines. But I like to encourage folks to what I like to call go off-roading, and just try it out. See what happens. Add a little bit of spice. Add a little bit more carrot if you like carrots. Leave out the onion if you don't like the onion. It's all about experimenting. Really, the way we learn is by tossing it in there. I mean, I've had some kitchen disasters, but it's been all right. All right, so we've got this rolling in the pan, okay? And now I'm gonna add my chili powder and my cumin, and that's gonna start smelling really good. Eric, you're the only one who's gonna be able to smell it though.
Smells delicious.
Oh, yeah, I mean that, you can already just start thinking about the margaritas and the umbrellas. So now that I've got these in here, I'm going to add my ground beef. And I have this heat on about medium high because I want, again, the vegetables to get that nice caramelization on the outside. So this is our ground beef. I'm just going to add that in. And I've already kind of pulled it apart into littler chunks. It just makes it easier to break up in the pan. I'm going to add this. And as you're adding it, just kind of go in with your spoon and break it up a little bit. We'll add the rest of it. There. Natives are getting restless. All right, now we're cooking. We're going to let the ground beef cook for a few minutes just to get most of the pink out of it. And just keep stirring it around. I'm going to turn this around so I can, there, hold my pan.
Do you prefer lean or less lean ground beef?
That's a matter of preference, I think. I tend to go with about an 80% just because I feel like it has a little bit more flavor to it, and it also will stay moister. The leaner you go, the drier the beef will end up being. In this particular dish, because we're adding liquid to it, you could use a leaner cut. I'm sorry, it was not an 80%, it's an 85%. So an 80% would be really, really fatty, and you might want to remove some of the fat from the pan if you were going to use a fattier one. So between an 85 and 87%, I think, is about right, because it's just a nice amount of tenderness and moisture to the beef and the flavor. All right, so you can see that this is getting nice and brown, and we've got a couple pink spots, but that's okay. I'm going to start adding some of the rest of our ingredients now so all of the flavors can meld together. All right. So we've got garlic, and our diced chilies. Those are going to go in. And our tomatoes are going to go in. I'm going to stir this around just to get everything mixed together.
Looking delicious, Holly.
Thank you. Eric, how does it smell?
Smells awesome. Honey, I'm going to be late tonight.
I bet you are.
All right. So that's looking good. And basically, we want to cook this long enough to cook the meat through and allow the flavors to blend. Now that I've got those in there, that's really good. I'm going to add our green olives. Get those in there. And then our raisins. Oh man, and I just love, let's see if you can see this, all of the colors in there. It looks really festive. And I'm a firm believer that we eat with our eyes before it even gets to our mouth. So if we see something that looks really appetizing, then our taste buds start going. I feel that way every time I go to a farmer's market. I look at all the amazing produce and I just think, oh my God, it's absolutely beautiful. And what can I do? How can I take that home and do something with it? All right. I'm going to add a little bit of water, maybe about a tablespoon or two, because this mixture is pretty juicy right now. And I'm going to let that cook. I'm going to reduce the heat a little bit to about medium, and I'm just going to let it cook and simmer for about 5 to 7 minutes. And as you can see, this is something that comes together really quickly, really easily, especially if your prep is done ahead of time, or you have someone else to do your prep for you, which is always nice. And this dish, you can certainly eat it on its own. You can use it for a taco filling. You could use it for a burrito filling. Today, I'm going over here for 1 minute off camera, but I'll be right back. I'm going to serve it with some rice. So I'm going to set this here for a minute. I also make empanadas with this filling, which are delicious. It's a little, if you don't know what an empanada is, it's just a little dough pocket that is stuffed with a delicious filling. And this is sometimes what is stuffed into them, all kinds of different flavors. Trying to think of what else that I use this for. Mostly it's a taco, burrito filling, enchilada filling, something along those lines. I'm just going to give it a stir. I like it because it has familiar ingredients in it. So it has the ground beef, the tomatoes, the vegetables, and certainly some of the spices, the cumin and the chili powder that we might be used to using in certain ways of cooking or certain styles of cooking. But it's a little bit of a different twist on it as well. And I really enjoy being able to take familiar ingredients and use them in different ways and introduce people to something that they might not have had before and hopefully will really enjoy. All right. So we are just about done with the cooking portion of it. I will say that when you are prepping and chopping your vegetables, it's really helpful to get them the same size so that in the beginning when we added the carrots and the onions, that everything was about the same size so it would all cook at the same time so that we don't have larger pieces or bite into a piece that is less cooked than another piece. Does anybody have any questions thus far? Does anybody want to have some?
Yes, I'll be right over.
I'm going to try it. It looks really good. Do you ever make it with chicken?
Pardon me?
Do you ever make it with chicken?
I have not, but I'm going to go there and say that you mean ground chicken or diced chicken?
Well, if you did chicken and then you shredded it, and then you put it in and you put it in your empanadas.
I would think that would be a lovely filling for it. I think you could also, again, make it your own. You could probably use ground turkey. I think it would be delicious with ground pork. shredded chicken, I think that would take to these flavors really well as well.
That looks amazing. I wish I was close by to taste it. I was just actually thinking if I have this stuff upstairs, I think I have everything, but the chicken's not, or the beef's not defrosted. But anyway, it looks good.
Thank you.
You can take it out tonight. It could be tomorrow's dinner.
Right.
It is. That's what we're going to do. Yeah.
Isn't it great that you have all those staples around the house ready to go?
Yeah, I do have all of it. So it's good.
All right. Well, I'm going to taste it.
Does anybody have any questions? Feel free to unmute yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Eric,
it's a keeper.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
I work for food.
It just makes a really nice, fast, and you got your vegetables in here. Easy dinner.
Wow.
I like the garnish, that green onion garnish. That looks pretty cool.
Oh, one more.
And there's the cuckoo clock.
Yep. Yeah. Time's up. Little cilantro.
Cilantro, is that what that is? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that looks really good.
Oh, that looks excellent. Nice job, Holly. That looks so yummy.
It does.
Thanks.
And I love all the colors.
I know, very festive.
Yes. And I love empanadas too.
Oh, I had a run for a couple of weeks with clients who just decided that empanadas were the thing to do over Christmas and New Year's. So this is the filling that I used, and I made probably hundreds of them.
Kind of comforting food.
Really, yes.
Holly and I are here in Vermont, so it was -2 at my house this morning. So empanadas would be a very comforting food right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Julie. It's been great. Thank you all for joining us. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in. Please do visit kitchen-coaching.com. You can learn a little bit more about me and what I offer and what I do. And thanks again. It was great. And I hope you make this at home.
Definitely. It's on the list for me this week. And I think Lisa's making it tomorrow. In the chat, Celeste was so nice to put the PDFs of the recipe in there that I had emailed out. So if you want to grab those, they're in the chat box. And also Holly's website address is in there as well, if you want to go there and see all the wonderful services that she offers. That's all right there in the chat box. And you can actually save the chat box too if you wanted to. There's 3 dots there that you can click on and have the ability to save that chat box as well. So now we're going to take these wonderful taste buds and head to Los Cabos. And we're going to allow ourselves to go on a virtual experience. Mexican food is my absolute favorite, hands down. I love the music, the food, the culture, and I have a lot of great memories from Los Cabos. And it's just a place that I feel like you can go back to time and time again. It's located in the southern tip of the Baja Peninsula, California, of which is actually in Mexico. And it's very diverse. You have both Cabo San Lucas, as well as San Jose del Cabo. And they offer totally 2 different experiences. Cabo San Lucas is going to be your boutique shops. You got gorgeous luxury resorts, but you also have a lot of shopping, restaurants, Mexican fare, and you have nightlife there. It's the hustle and bustle of Los Cabos. And then you travel over to San Jose del Cabo, and that's more laid back. You have a lot of art galleries, a lot of mom and pop shops where they have handmade crafts that you can purchase, and they have the restaurants there are amazing, the Mexican fare, but you also have really wonderful local music talents, but it's much more quiet. It's Spanish colonial, 18th century, So it's definitely a different experience. And so tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to go to 3 different areas. We're going to start off in Cabo San Lucas, which is the seaside area. Then we're going to head to the desert, and then we're going to the mountains. So there's kind of something for everybody. We're going to visit 3 luxury, 5-star luxury resorts that are virtuoso properties. So that allows me to sprinkle all that VIP goodness on top of your trip. And they're just amazing. So I've got videos to show you that you're going to just get wanderlust right after seeing them. And so we're going to start off, we're going to see where we can stay, and we're going to see where we can play, and then we're going to see where we can go for gourmet delights, where we can eat. So I'm going to get that started here for you. So sit back and relax. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat box, and then we can have a question and answer at the end as well. So here we are in Land's End, Cabo San Lucas, the marina, where my husband, Eric, the cameraman tonight, and my father and brother, they went out on a deep sea fishing excursion, and they just caught tons of fish. But as I recall it, I don't think they actually got to enjoy the fish at the end of it all. So maybe Eric will have to comment on that at the end. But they had a wonderful time. And again, Cabo San Lucas is the heartbeat. There's all the high-end boutique shopping and really so much to do there. We went to, I had included in the PDFs that I sent everybody, one of my favorite margaritas recipes, which is the Cabo Wabo. And that is, we went to the restaurant that is owned by Sammy Hagar. And that is his tequila line. And he does the Cabo Wabo margarita, or the Cabo Wabarita. And it is absolutely delicious, but it can sneak up on you. So you do have to be careful. And I also included my go-to favorite salsa recipe as well. So give it a try on another evening with some wonderful chips to go along with it. But while we were there, we got to also go to this restaurant called The Office, and it was just unbelievable. So much activity going on out on the beach, and you could dine on the beach at the restaurant as well. And that was a lot of fun doing that. But this is your seaside area. So you have all sorts of water activity. You have the El Arco, which is also known as their famous arch. And you have on one side, this is where the Sea of Cortez and the Pacific Ocean meet. And so on the one side, you have where it's nice and calm, where you have this little beach area, and you can do the kayaking there and pull right up there. They also do cliff diving here, but on the other side is the Pacific Ocean, which then gets very, can have some high waves there. So it's an interesting area to go around, but you got to be careful. You also can do all sorts of swimming with the snorkeling, and the fish are amazing. They're so vibrant. The colors of the water are beautiful. They have all sorts of sunset cruises you can do. You can go whale watching. Another fun activity is to go swimming with the whale sharks. And these are the largest fish in the ocean. And actually, they look very intimidating, but they are gentle giants. So rest assured, it's a fun activity, even though it might look a little scary. Here's a nice sunset at the Marina, Land's End Marina in Cabo. The sunsets there are just stunning. And so very relaxing. There's all sorts of, this is just an example of dining, one of a dining experience that you can have. And the views, again, of the sunset are just amazing. Now we're going to venture on into one of my favorite resorts, Palmilla. Oh, after we take a look at Mr. Cabo. This is our fur baby, and we loved our ventures and travels to Cabo San Lucas so much that we named our 13-and-a-half-year-old doggy Cabo. So he's our catch of the day, if you will. And you'll see him in my newsletters.
He's so cute.
Yay! So that's Palmilla, and it's absolutely one of my favorite. I love to send my clients there and sprinkle all sorts of VIP goodness on them. There is so much to offer. They have the golf course there that's just got stunning views. It's Jack Nicklaus course. And we didn't actually golf when we were there, but we did do their driving range, which was unbelievable. I mean, it was hard to concentrate on the ball when you had such an amazing view in front of you. And it was so much fun. But they have 4 restaurants there. One of them Michelin starred chef, and the food is outstanding. We went to their one restaurant, Agua, and we got these incredible, they were probably like 12-inch goblets of their specialty drink of the day, which was this melon drink, and you could have it with or without alcohol. And my mother, she says she always gets the short end of the stick. Well, she did that day because she decided to go with the typical margarita that you would want in Mexico. And when our drinks arrived, again, they were just absolutely beautiful. And they were so delicious that she immediately asked the service person if she could switch. And they were so accommodating, of course. So they switched it right out for her. And she was so happy that she was able to get the other beverage. But this is a private, secluded resort. And it's got actually a swimmable beach. A lot of the beaches. So this is our seaside destination that we're talking about. And it looks out onto the Sea of Cortez. And you also have al fresco dining there. They have tennis courts. They have spa. They have the fitness. There's so much going on there. And actually, my cousin used to work. This is the one and only Palmilla. And she used to work for Kersner International, which owns that company. And she was in charge of John Travolta's 50th birthday party when they reopened Palmilla up. So she was in charge of that with all sorts of celebrities. And then she actually got to attend and ended up on the dance floor at the end of the night out there with Robin Williams and Oprah and all sorts of celebrities. And so I just had to live vicariously through her experience and was hanging on her every word as she told me all about it. So here, if you want to venture out from the resort and try something different, this is Sunset. This is Sunset Mona Lisa, and it's in they have Mediterranean cuisine, and it's in a cliffside, and it's in Cabo San Lucas, and it has wonderful, amazing food. It's like a total culinary adventure. And if you look over to the left, you'll see the arch there. So it's right in the Cabo San Lucas Bay, and the views are stunning at sunset. And again, the food is outstanding. It was voted the top 5 coolest restaurants in the Tribune Express. So it's to die for, and it's definitely on a list that I would suggest for you. Now we're going to move on to the Cape, a Thompson Hotel. So that location is now taking us to the desert. On one side of the property is the desert, and on the other side is the ocean. And it has very large windows and a lot of open spaces. It has a modern stone design, which then just fits right into the landscape that it has surrounding it. This is its famous rooftop bar. So if you want to get the best vantage point for sunsets at this location, this is where you'd want to be. And this is 15 minutes east of Cabo San Lucas. They have Mexican food that has Japanese and Peruvian influences at their famous restaurant, which is called the Manta. And as far as activities and things to do, I would suggest that you don't have to go all the way to Morocco to ride a camel. You can do it right here and not travel so far. So you can do a camel safari through the Baja Outback, and you can pair it with, many different things. You can add, a guided nature hike to that. You can visit a turtle sanctuary. You can do tortilla making classes. You can pair that also with lunch. You can, while you're riding the camel, you'll get to see like 120 different species of cactus. So it's someplace where you're going to start in the desert and end up on sandy beaches. And there's not many places that you can ride a camel and start in the desert and end up, near the ocean. So it's definitely something that I did not get to experience when I was there, but look forward to when I go back for a visit. This now takes us, if you want to get out and try different restaurants, you can go to San Jose del Cabo. And they have something that's very fun that you can do, is a art walk experience with food farm to table. And you can go and experience all the different art galleries and walk around and get a guided tour, but you'll be visiting 5 specialty restaurants. And at the end of it, you actually get to meet up with an artist who would then be performing in front of you and working on an original piece. And so it would be a lot of fun to try that out as well and go around at your own speed around town in San Jose del Cabo. So this is another restaurant that you could go, which is La Lupita Taco and Mezcal's Patio. and they have live music. And going here is like so much fun. It's like going to your friend's house for a fiesta. That's how much fun it is. And I have fiestas, so you could come to my house. But these places, they have all sorts of ventures. They've got cactus tacos, and they've got mushrooms, and then you can get homemade guacamole with a side of grasshoppers. That's for the more adventurous palates. That's not me. That'd be my husband. But I definitely have had the cactus tacos, and those are delicious. So definitely give those a try. So the Waldorf Astoria, Los Cabos, Pedregal is on my wish list. I love it. It's so neat. They have their own private tunnel, and a lot of the suites there, they have 115 rooms and suites with some of them, quite a few of them have private plunge pools, ocean views. They are amazing, and they're in a cliffside. And now we've hit the mountains. We just left the desert, and now we've hit the mountains. And so they have a granite formation that is called the Pedregal, and so that's where the name actually comes from. But they have all sorts of multiple infinity pools, as you saw, which I love infinity pools. Take me there immediately. And they also have a salt pool. They also have a waterfall meditation pool, and they have another pool. Their main pool has a swim up bar in it. And the best thing about it is every day you get warm tortilla chips and homemade guacamole. So it is amazing. And so this here is a fun excursion that you can try, which is in Boca de Sierra National Park. And it's zip lining for the adventurous people here. And it goes for 2,000 feet. And while you're up there amongst all the foliage, you get to see the desert and the ocean. I actually didn't try it in when I was visiting there, but my husband and I did do it in Costa Rica. And it was amazing. We were up there amongst all the TT monkeys and all the wildlife, and it was just a wonderful experience. So that, again, is for the adventurous people. But other things that you can do in the national park is they have suspension bridges, and they've all got all sorts of crazy names for those. And then there's also hundreds of streams that you can pick one or more than one and go swimming in. So that's a lot of fun to do that. Next stop is, where are we going for a fabulous restaurant? And that would be the Flora Farms restaurant. And they also offer culinary classes, and they book up in advance. So you definitely need advanced reservations when going there. And I highly suggest that you go early, because doing the tour there is amazing. They have all their own gardens. So they, bring all the food that they're growing in. So it's the farm to table experience. They've got sunflowers in their garden, which are my absolute favorite. And so you have such delicious meals there. And then you have the spa. They also have a spa on site. So you could really make a day of it if you'd like to do the spa and the culinary classes, and also eat at the restaurant as well. So it's amazing. Next up we're going to a little small village. It's a coastal town, and it's Todos Santos in the foothills of Sierra de Laguna Mountains on the Pacific coast. And there you can visit the Mission Santa Rosa, and you also can visit the famous Hotel California. I'm not sure on that one though, because there's a lot of different places that claim it. So I'm not quite sure if this is the original. Don't hold me to it. And then there's the El Trifino, which is the mining area. And you can go on guided tours there. And they have this old famous smokestack, La Ramona, that they're trying to renovate and preserve. It's been falling apart. And so they've got projects going on trying to preserve it. It's been hit hard by the weather elements and earthquakes and various things over the years. So that's really cool. But there's all sorts of things to do there in the restaurants. It's got such colorful architecture, as you can see. And it's got all sorts of boutique shops, and the restaurants, again, with the Mexican fare and the different culinary experiences that they bring to you are absolutely amazing.
Julie, they also have a lot of arts, like arts and crafts places all throughout. It's really kind of neat to walk around. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, nice.
They have like little shops with it's just art, jewelry, handmade items. It's really cute. It's cute.
And they also have that in
Cabo,
San Jose del Cabo too. A lot of handcraft made items.
Yeah. It's nice to walk around there. It's cute. And the flags that's exactly what it looks like. And all the buildings are that bright, they're brightly colored. They're all different colors. So they have memorabilia on their houses and things like that. It's cute.
And we're used to that. We used to live in Key West for 10 years. And so we're all about color. So we're going to finish here with a little video to leave you lusting for wanderlust for Los Cabos. So who's ready to start dreaming again about these wonderful places? I know we've all been pent up and really wanting to get out there and travel, but not everybody is ready to go. Some people are, they're already traveling, and quite a few people are actually going to Los Cabos as one of their destinations. But it's exciting right now. We've got the vaccination that's rolling out, so that's exciting, and looking forward to traveling again. I'm so glad everybody was able to join us tonight, taking time out of your busy schedule. If anybody has any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them. You can unmute yourselves. And as far as distance, from like Boston, or you have New York areas, as far as traveling there, it's about an 8-hour flight. And then you also have nonstop would be about 6 hours. So thank you very much. Holly and I have enjoyed having you this evening. And we will let you know, we'll send out the recording to you via email. And then I will follow up and let you know when our next event will be in February. So thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you. This is fun. Thank you, Holly. Good job.
Thank you. It was great.